Soon and very soon, we are going to see the HOSH. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the curry. Hey. Welcome to another episode of The Dissection. What a day, what a day, what a day. Two topics that we're going to talk about. Number one, I'm going to give you an update on the Brown Mogotsi hit situation. And number two, we're going to discuss the General Kumalo testimony today at the Madlanga Commission. So initially, when we heard the Brown Mogotsi story, I took it very seriously. No singing, I took it seriously. But the story is not making sure, it's not adding up. So there are some discrepancies in that particular story which lead me to now take the viewpoint that this is another form of fabrication, manufacturing of consent, and may even be similar to what we saw earlier in the year when Brown Mogotsi had this spokesperson, the brown envelope, red Chevrolet spokesperson. Because if you recall, there was this interview that Newsroom Africa did where this guy was like, oh, Brown Mogotsi is a good man. Brown Mogotsi took me into his house. My mother kicked me out. And so Newsroom saw that the interview was so bad, they ended up taking it down from their own platform. So as the day progressed, certain details became quite evident. Number one, the vehicle that Brown Mogotsi was driving, right, had very old tires and did not seem to be in a good state of repair. Now, Brown Mogotsi lives in Northwest and he is often in Gauteng. Now, if indeed he is using a vehicle to go up and down to Northwest, as you go to Northwest, the roads have potholes. They're not all good. You go past places like Khanyisa and other places like that, you will see that the roads are in dire condition. What this therefore means is that you are most likely, as a person who takes that type of a trip, to use a more roadworthy vehicle. I mean, of course, if you were somebody who has low income and you are really struggling, that could be a vehicle that you use on a daily basis. But the state of the tires, even for somebody who is just moving up and down the city, seemed to be such that it was not really looking like a regular vehicle. The whole thing was giving the Gavin Watson moment. You recall Gavin Watson, the CEO of Bosasa, implicated in a lot of corruption. And then we saw some footage where they said, hey, this man was driving to the airport. He's a billionaire in a Corolla. The things we saw there. And they were like, yeah, no, he just passed away in this Corolla. And the whole thing looked like a production which was worse than an episode of Generations, later day Generations. Because Generations was actually quite good in the early days of Archie Muroka. But some of the seasons of Generations were just... But you know what? What's happening in reality now is even stranger than the worst episodes of Generations and the most creative episodes of The River. Because in The River, sometimes you'd be like, this storyline is quite bizarre. I don't know if there's any verisimilitude in this story. And verisimilitude is a word that is worth knowing because it speaks to the reality of a particular narrative when it's being made by an author or a writer or a movie producer. Very little verisimilitude in some episodes of The River. And now, in reality, very little verisimilitude when it comes to some of the stuff that Brown Mogotsi has come up with. And he's not the first person who's had a fake assassination attempt. Other people who are in this network, this HOSH curry network, have actually done similar things. I mean, there was another businessman who said, look at my car, it's been shot multiple times, and it did not look that way. So the tires are one of the things that lead us to question the veracity of that version. Number two, the placement of the so-called bullets are such that it does not seem likely that somebody would have survived that. And the police actually allowed journalists to take photos of the vehicle. And if you look at those photos, you can see that it's unlikely that somebody would have survived that particular placement of bullets. Also, secondly, there's no blood in the vehicle whatsoever. Not even like one drop, and no iota of blood in the vehicle. This suggests that if the bullet placement was as suggested, something would have happened here. You know, once there was an incident where journalists ran to a particular activist's house. The activist had said that people had attacked his house, they had killed his family, and there was an old Magoko there who was just like 4:10, boom, indlu yawa. She was trying to explain the things she heard, but as people paid closer attention to the story, it really came across as an embellishment, an exaggeration. The windows were shattered going outward, not inward. So then there was a question now about if the window fragments are inside the house, outside the house, how is it possible then that, you were saying that there was an explosion from the outside? Because if the explosion was from the outside, the glass fragments would have been on the inside of the house, not on the outside of the house. And that particular moment went viral. The granny went viral. 4:10, boom, indlu yawa. Brown Mogotsi's particular story right now looks as if it's in the range of 4:10, not in the range of something that should be given the gravitas that I actually gave it earlier. It does not seem as if it's a real thing. Then there is the question around Brown Mogotsi is a businessman. Brown Mogotsi is somebody who has been labeled at various points as being a businessman. Would he actually drive that type of a car? It's a Chevrolet Aveo or something like that. And people were saying, something's not adding up. Something's not adding up. The maths ain't mathing. And I would have to agree with them. I am not persuaded anymore, having looked at all of the information, that Brown Mogotsi actually was the victim of an assassination attempt. This looks like it was a hoax, something designed to create sympathy for him or to reconstruct the narrative. I'm not sure what the agenda or the motive may have been here. Then critically, the police opened a case of attempted murder, but they asked Brown Mogotsi to come and report, to give a statement. He has not done so. They asked him to come at 8 a.m. At the time of my recording at 4 p.m. today, Brown Mogotsi had not done anything to that effect. So if you are the victim of an attempted murder and you are worried about your life and want criminals to be apprehended who tried to kill you for whatever reason, especially after you've been talking all variety of things, because you made allegations against Fikile Mbalula, you said you have information that can implicate multiple people in the ANC who took money from Vutsi Matlala, somebody who is now awaiting trial for attempted murder, somebody who has been implicated in tender fraud. You said you had files, information, and that you were waiting for the appropriate platform where you could speak, and now all of a sudden, not adding up. So we have to put the Brown Mogotsi story into another basket altogether. Now, let's move on to the second story, which is the General Kumalo presentation today in the Madlanga Commission. First of all, I'm not going to do a summary today. I'm going to do a summary later. I have to go back to day 1, day 2, and look at day 3. But I'm going to do a reaction and give you some thoughts, some of my reflections. And I recommend that you go watch what General Kumalo has said, because I think it's quite important, right? Having watched this, my first question, it's not a statement, it's actually a question. There were some people who were typing, where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Whoo! Every time Kumalo comes through, General Dumisani Khumalo, first of his name, one out of the many Kumalos. Whenever he comes through, he presents a plethora, a preponderance of evidence. He presents a compelling body of evidence that I do not think that those who said, where is the evidence, should with their chests be saying anything remotely similar to that, and in fact should contritely go and write articles apologizing to the man for their gumption to even dare to challenge whether or not he had evidence, because he has buckets, truckloads of evidence. The amount of evidence that has been presented here, scintillating, compelling, motivating. That is the nature of the evidence that has been presented. And we have to ask questions then. Who said to those media practitioners that there was no evidence? Whomst told you? Tell us. Why was it part of your narrative formation or your coverage that you chose a line of reasoning or a line of writing that said there's no evidence? So that's the first thing. Number 2, it seems to me very evident why people wanted General Dumisani Khumalo out of the picture. The man is a strategist. The man is clearly a chess player. I don't know whether he plays chess, but he's playing on the board of crime management, crime prevention, another level of chess. The investigation plans, the analysis-led system, the prosecution-led system, the 5 pillars approach. When this guy speaks, you feel in your soul that you must not even think of doing crime because Kumalo will catch you. The amount of time that he said it took them to get Katiso Molefe, once they got the 10 guys from the task team from KZN, they were moving like this. Space of 2 weeks, they got them. And it was so good of an explanation that the commissioner then asked, why isn't this being done nationally? You know, the commissioner was so impressed. He's like, you guys are moving so fast. You guys got them like that. You got it like that. You know, listening to the police, certain of the police officers who've been presenting here, you are really impressed by the South African Police Service. They got it. They got the equipment. They got the tools, the strategies in place. What they don't have is the management and the leadership. Because when you're listening to Warrant Officer Nkosi, you can see that's a no-nonsense policeman. He ain't playing games with nobody. When you listen to General Mkhwanazi, you can tell that's a no-nonsense policeman. He ain't playing games with nobody. When you listen to General Dumisani Khumalo, you begin to appreciate he's a no-nonsense policeman. He ain't playing games with anybody. They're talking about a variety of tools, tactics, strategy, ballistics, cell phone analysis, all of these things. You then begin to wonder, how is it that people are getting away with crime so much in South Africa? And I think that's where the commissioner was coming from. To be like, you can get a ballistics turnaround time 2 days. You can actually go to a criminal's house and set up a takedown operation in a matter of a few weeks. Not even a month, few weeks, you're ready to go, you go do it. Few weeks later, you are arresting this guy. You're exposing a whole cartel in a short space of time. That was impressive. And it shows why people want him out. So I must say, I'm not in the corner of entertaining anybody who is trying to implicate General Dumisani Khumalo at this point. Because I don't think that as meticulous as he is, he would be involved in the promotion of somebody who is not qualified to be where they are. So I don't think that arrest has merit. I think that what is very clear here is that they want this man far away from policing because he will catch them. Then I think about what witness B said, that Kumalo was showing them a heart that cared for them as police officers, making sure that they would stay alive as police officers, that the threat assessment, when it was inadequate, he took it upon himself to make sure that these investigating officers live to see their families go to church again and actually testify against this cartel. And that's what has been happening. So I'm not entertaining anybody at this particular point unless they bring something concrete in the manner that General Dumisani Khumalo has done to the public. Bring evidence in the quality that he has brought it, and then we will hear you out. Then we'll listen to you. Whew. Then he wasn't playing. I think the people who are the most frustrated today is this Sergeant Ntuli and General Shadrack Sibiya. They're frustrated because General Dumisani Khumalo exposed them in full. In full. Here's what he showed us.
Around SH and Nkosi that I reflected that he is attached to the office of...
Okay, so I think before we start, do you just want to give the, in just a sentence or two, an indication to the Commission what this evidence relates to?
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. The evidence relates to my last part of interference that I was leading, which is around SH and Nkosi, that I reflected that he is attached to the office of the Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Sibiya, and the evidence will be talking to the link that has been identified through Sergeant Nkosi, that is linking the office of Lieutenant General Sibiya and the cartel, which can be easily understood if we may recall the evidence that we laid on the charts where the bank card, the picture or photo of the bank card of Mr. Madlanga was found to be in possession of a Sergeant Ghost.
Okay. We'll begin with the first item then. And if I could ask for it to be projected. Right.
Thank you, Commissioners. A one-liner introduction to this. I'll go back to the operation for the 6th of December. On the 6th of December, during that operation, one of our activities was to download the CCTV camera footage in the premises of Mr. Molefe, of which we did. So the CCTV footage that we are playing is the one that was confiscated and downloaded on the 6th of December. But the evidence as per the dates, if the dates will appear on the screen, it's for the 27th of November, which was then around 5 or 6 days or less than 10 days before the 6th of December. So on the first part.
Let's just take it slowly. So this is, what we are looking at is footage from the CCTV camera at Mr. Molefe's house.
Yes, Commissioners.
And the date stamp is 27 November 2024.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. And who is the person that we can see in the video that's exiting the white BMW?
The person that we see exiting the white BMW is a Sergeant Nkosi.
Okay, so that's...
He just arrived in the premises of Katiso Molefe on the 27th of November. Okay. So the vehicle that is projected there on the video, I think we are still going to see it much closer. It is the vehicle, it is an SAPS vehicle that is allocated to the office of the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Sibiya. So that is the first link that one will explain with that. And there is a lot of, or maybe one has to, because when we get to that slide, we might have lots of questions. It is the policy of the South African Police Service to have all vehicles fitted with an internal tracking system, which is referred to as AVL, so as then we are able, especially during complaints, investigations, and our type of investigations, we are able then to have our work easily cut out. But this...
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you because we're going to come there.
Yes.
So let's, again, let's just take it slowly. So 27 November 2024, and the timestamp is 1631. Is that right?
That is correct, Commissioners.
Okay. And so we see Sergeant Nkosi arriving, and there's anything else that we need to see from this video?
From this video, we can confirm that those premises are for Mr. Katiso Molefe. We have been frequent visitors there. We had arrested him twice, and he's getting bail now and again. We might then go back there anytime soon. So we confirm that these are his premises. we confirm the car and the individual driving the car.
Right.
Just for the record, this is the Sandhurst residence where the incident with the Hoax took place and where the takedown operation took place.
That is correct, Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner. So could we, anything further from this video that you wish to say? From this
No,
clip?
we can
Can we move on?
continue.
Okay. So can we play the second clip? Okay, can we go back to the beginning and pause it there? Okay, so now that we've seen it, we're just going to go back to the beginning, pause it, thank you. Okay,
Thank you, Commissioners. This part of the video, maybe if we can check the time, Mr. Sergeant Nkosi did not spend much time there. It was less than 5 or 6 minutes.
well, the timestamp says 16:40, and the previous video was 16:31, so it's about 9 minutes.
Yeah. And then we noticed that when he was arriving, he did not have any bag with. So now this second video is showing, okay, maybe standing there, it's him and Mr. Katiso Molefe, who is then accompanying his visitor back to his car. And then we notice that the sergeant is now carrying a white paper bag. Unfortunately for us, it's not transparent, so as we can see what type of chocolate is in there. But he is having a bag that does not look like it's heavy, but it has got some contents. Then we will use lots of analytical minds to check what is it that you can carry in such a carrier bag with value, but it's not that heavy. As then the picture is like he just came in to collect something that was already packed and waiting for pickup.
Okay, but you don't know what's in the bag, correct?
That's correct, Commissioners. We still trying to get the systems that will make us be able to see behind bags, the scanners through the system. But using our own analytical minds, we can see that he's carrying something that is not that heavy, but it's of value.
Okay.
And we can then look at chocolate, sweets, or whatever that you can put in that type of a bag, and you hold it dearly so on your right hand. Thank you, Commissioner.
There are some people who are going to come to this commission and they're not going to know what they have to say or how to say anything that they need to say, because the amount of evidence against them at this point would be so overwhelming that they really have to come and confess. I think confession is now the best direction, because deflection, obfuscation, prevarication, these are not going to work anymore. The amount of evidence that has been presented, that has been seen by the public at this point, certain people are going, I don't know what you say, even as a legal advisor to people like Shadrack Sibiya. I don't know what I would say to General Shadrack Sibiya at this point. This is not Bushiri gossiping from Malawi. This is a senior police officer showing us video footage of your car with a police officer who's been implicated in having the card of Vusi Matlala, collecting money from Vusi Matlala. Same guy getting a bag to get chocolates, HOSH carry chocolates in a scented mansion. What do you do now? The generals, the Shibiris and other generals, this is not going to look good. If I was one of the generals right now who's implicated, I would snitch. I would just tell the whole story now because, it's late now. It's late. So what General Dumisani Khumalo, he was linking number plates. He was showing a lot of stuff throughout the day. And I suggest that you go watch it. I don't even know at this point what action the president has to take. But if there's an idea now that, you can just wait till this whole thing is finished, the kind of things that we're saying, you have to take some action. There's an interim report that's supposed to happen. All the deadlines have been missed, but there was supposed to be an interim report at a certain period, right? I think that first interim report, the president has to take some action. He has to take some action. He may have to consider disbanding the Hawks altogether, starting afresh, because it's so bad. Some of the implications are so bad, and everything that we've seen now suggests that there's a lot that is happening with this cartel, with the infiltration. He may have to fire Minister Senzo Mchunu altogether. In fact, if he had done that, some of this could have been avoided, because going to the commission, allowing the ad hoc committee to also have a bite, that has exposed more than I think they ever wanted us to know about this whole thing. And those who are saying Mkhwanazi must follow protocol, General Mkhwanazi must follow protocol, do you still hold that position now? Do you still think that General Mkhwanazi should have followed protocol? I don't think that protocol would have helped us to understand the extent of this problem. I think that the way that he approached it on the 6th of July was something that was necessary to start the healing process in the policing system in South Africa. If you actually allow people like General Mkhwanazi, people like General Dumisani Khumalo, to actually implement their vision of analysis-led policing, prosecution-led policing across the board, I think South Africa could be one of the safest places in the world. Let these people work. Let them cook. Let them cook the HOSH curry. Let them cook yonki HOSH curry. Guys, let's meet in the comment section. I'm going to do a full summary of General Kumalo. I don't want to just do this is a hot take. I'm going to do a proper summary. But for today, what a man. What a man. General Kumalo, I salute you. Guys, let's meet in the comments. Don't worry about a HOSH, 'cause every little HOSH is a fele jele. Mzansi, don't worry about a HOSH. Every little HOSH is a fele jele.